What is going on, Colts Nation? He is Jamal Lawrence. I'm Eric Smith, your co-host of the Colts Cast.
Yo.
Hey, it's all about Gardner Minshew today. Gardner Minshew, he had to step up. He had to be that guy when Anthony Richardson went down. And, well, he did his job, earning his first Pro Bowl appearance in the process. The Colts missed the playoffs basically on one play. That was affected by him as well. And despite any criticism against him, Minshew Mania was balling for what it's worth. I mean, for the value we got for him, he signed a 1-year, $3.5 million contract. And now he's set to hit the free market. So, Jamal, it begs the question, should the Indianapolis Colts re-sign Gardner Minshew?
Begs the question of, should you hit that like and subscribe button before we get this party started? And I think absolutely, yes, you should hit it. Go ahead and hit that button. It's absolutely free for you. Get us out to other Colts fans like yourself. And it keeps us bringing this fresh content to y'all. So Eric, like you said, Minshew, he, for what it's worth, he did what he was supposed to do at a value, at a bargain. 3 million, 3.5 million, I guess. And then because of that little incentive of him playing these games, he got extra 2 million tacked on there. So I think 5.5 million roughly.
Yep.
That's what he got paid. Should the Colts bring him back based off of what he did this past year? You know what? Let's go ahead and get straight to the skinny. I think that there's a lot going into the season. There's a lot of questions we have going into this season. Is Anthony Richardson going to come back healthy? Are we going to have any other wide receivers in there? Are there are a bunch of different things going on that I'm wondering about for the Colts? But we also talk about that cap space. I think we have like the 5th highest cap space right now, I believe it is. So there's some money, but we got a lot of free agents on our squad that we got to pay. So how does Minshew fit in there? And I think the only way Minshew can fit into this is if he is willing to take some incentives, some more bonuses, or B, we may have to just let him walk. We just may have to let him walk. Minshew's going to want some money, and I think that this unfortunate situation that happened for Anthony Richardson this year, fortunate for Minshew because, like you said, it got him that Pro Bowl bid and it showed the world that he could do a little bit of something at that second string quarterback spot. I think that it's going to make him want a lot of money, maybe a lot more than what he should say deserves. And I know deserves is a very strong word to use, especially with what he did this past year. But the reality of the situation is most backup quarterbacks are there just to back up. Most of them aren't planning on seeing the field for 90% of the games like he had to. So do the Colts say, hey, listen, we understand what you did last year. We're willing to pay you whatever money you want. Or do the Colts say, hey, listen, we're going to give this thing to you, but we're going to throw some more bonuses and incentives in there? Or do the Colts just say, listen, dog, Shane Steichen is the new guy here. We understand you were in his system in Philly. We understand you did a good job as a backup quarterback, but Shane Steichen could potentially have a system going on in Indy that another quarterback could just step in here and pick up right where they left off. I think there's a lot to go in with that. So in short, Eric, I'll tell you this. Like I said at the top, the only way I'm down for Minshew coming back is if the Colts give him a contract, maybe throw extra million there, whatever the case is, but then you can throw a couple more million in the back end and bonuses and incentives. I know it's going to be almost impossible for him to hit any other bonuses and incentives as a backup quarterback again, unless Richardson goes down. But that's the reality of the situation. We can't afford to just pay a backup quarterback $8-9 million with the prediction that he is not going to see the field.
What would you resign him to in 2024?
I would give him 4.5, and then similar if he play, based off of what he does. If he plays that same incentive that he had, he can get that extra $2.5 million on the back end, so he can get up to $7 million. But again, incentive base.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, Minshew's value has gone way up. So I don't believe, in my opinion, there's no way he accepts something that low.
I agree.
There's a lot of teams that's going to be bidding for him, I believe. So he's signing more than $4.5 million this time around. And like you said, Jamal, you have to think we got guys to sign: Grove, Pitt, Blackman, Moore, potentially. I said on the last episode, I don't know if we'll get all those guys signed, but we do have other more important pieces, in my opinion, to consider. So do we even have money left for the most prized backup in the league? I'm not sure. I mean, he's probably the most prized backup right now. Like, I don't think you could tell. I mean, maybe Ryan Tannehill. I don't know. Gardner Minshew, I think was the best backup last year. Am I forgetting someone, Jamal? Like, was there anyone who balled out more than him from a backup perspective?
I don't think so. I mean, of course, we had quite a few backups who were in there. I think that I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
But I don't think bar for bar one did as good of a job as he did.
Flacco won comeback player of the year, but
Yeah, he did. But
smaller
Flacco was,
sample size.
yeah.
And then they fell apart in the playoffs. But let me put this in perspective. I do not want to see Anthony Richardson go down with another season-ending injury.
Mm-hmm.
So if he missed a game or two, I mean, that's okay. I won't say that's normal, but that happens. But I'm telling you, if he becomes injury riddled, we have a bigger problem than our backup QB
Mm-hmm.
on our hands. So I don't think anyone last season expected Minshew to play more than half the season, correct? What about you, Jamal? Did you think he was
Absolutely. Minshew didn't plan on playing the season. He planned on getting his money and walking.
walking, just chilling? Because Anthony Richardson was announced the starter, which I thought maybe a few games they were going to give Minshew a few games, but no, Richardson showed it in preseason. He's ready. But Gardner Minshew overachieved along with the Colts football team for what we had, what we lost. But look, quote me on this, Jamal. It's time to build around Richardson, not behind him.
Finally, my boy came to his senses. Talk to him.
Around him, not behind. Because this is all about what it's going to cost Minshew. There are plenty of free agent quarterbacks that can play behind Richardson, just like Jamal said, for a game or two in the event he's out. We're expecting Richardson. This isn't like last season, okay? There's Jacoby Brissett, there's Jameis Winston, there's Drew Lock, there's Mark Smith. There are plenty of backup quarterbacks that are willing to back up Anthony Richardson. It don't really matter who we get to me. I mean, we can pick and choose and say this one's got a better arm. It don't really matter to me because we have our starter in mind. This, like I said, this isn't like last season where Minshew was potentially a bridge quarterback for a rookie who was quote unquote raw. We got our guy potentially, and he's going to start all 17 games if he's healthy. This is strictly to back up Anthony Richardson. No bridge, potentially a mentor, but some of those guys I mentioned, I don't want the mentor Richardson. But I think, this is my opinion. Minshew he's going to be wanting a huge contract. He had, one of his best seasons with the Colts. I don't really think the Colts should bite into that at the moment. I love Minshew in the locker room. He's a stellar backup. Like I said, most prized backup in the league probably right now. And he knows Shane Steichen's offense, but I don't think it's worth it in these circumstances.
I agree, and I'm so glad you said that because again, it's not about listen. He did his thing, and he should get paid. And that's why I offer that low ball offer because the Colts shouldn't be bending over backwards at any point to try to get him back because we know what Richardson should bring to the table. And like I said earlier, man, listen, a prime example of Shane Steichen's coaching. It goes right to what we see. There's a quote, and it's not a direct quote, but from a guy I like. He basically said was that you can have the fastest plane in the world, but if you have a pilot who doesn't know where he's going, it doesn't matter. You're going to run out of gas eventually. We look at the Eagles, fastest plane in the world starting off this year, start off 10-1. But guess what? They had a pilot running that offense who didn't know where he was going. So guess what happened? They fell apart. Insert Shane Steichen, who came into a team who had a slower jet, slower plane, going a lot slower. But guess what? The pilot knew where he was going. And even with all the turbulence that was in this season, injuries, betting, gambling, PEDs, all this other stuff, still managed to almost make it to his destination. So like I said, we can almost bring any quarterback. I won't say any. I'm not going to say any, but we can bring a multitude of quarterbacks into the system who can run an RPO offense and do what we need to do to get the W's within the system. So I will never vouch to pay a backup quarterback the amount of money that someone like Minshew will ask for. Is it great that he's been with Steichen for these couple years? He knows the offense, yada, yada, this, yada, yada, that. Sure, that's all fine and dandy. But that means nothing to me at the end of the day when I think about the fact that Anthony Richardson had a year. And as much as I hate that he got injured, I said from the beginning, I said I'll be okay with him sitting back for a year because he's going to learn Shane Steichen's offense. He's going to learn how the ins and outs and not have to make these game time decisions, these game time reads during that. Now he can watch from the side. He's watched from the sideline all year long. He's
Yeah,
had a chance
basically
to watch
sat.
on film. Yeah,
Basically
exactly.
sat.
He watched film all year long. He knows how the offense works. He could better read a defense now. We're going to see an uptick of his play, of what potential play he had this year, though we didn't really get a chance to see, obviously. And I bring all that to the attention to say that we don't need to have a quarterback who's the most comfortable in this system to now teach him, because he's had 365 days of looking at it on his own without playing. So, which again, that's not a direct quote on how many days, but you get what I'm saying. So I'm okay with another backup quarterback, whether that be a vet or we go to the draft, whatever the case is, get one late in the game.
Sam Ehlinger season.
Listen, there's always been Sam Ehlinger season. All y'all been hating on Sam. Hey, listen, we saw what Sam did in Texas, running a similar offense to this. My man was running the table at Texas. So call it what you want, but yeah. I'm not down for paying Minshew. Like I said, you lowball him, you give him incentives that probably aren't going to hit, because that's exactly what we did this past year, and we keep life going. We got too many important pieces to pay to be worried about the backup quarterback, like you said, Eric.
I will say the backup quarterback value, the market for them probably went up last season because there were a lot of quarterbacks that went down. But then again, like a lot of them stepped up. So did it actually go up, or is it just okay? I don't know, but I do know, like I can think of some teams that are going to be trying to get Gardner Minshew, whether it's for a starter role, a bridge quarterback role, a starter role, or just they want a backup. But like what are the Vikings gonna do? What are the Browns gonna do? Like there's been a lot of news about Deshaun Watson. I think he's gonna get some bidders, and his value, I don't know, it could approach those double digits.
Yeah, and for him, go get your bag, Minshew.
Exactly.
Go get it, just somewhere else. Like, you just don't plan to get it back here. Just if you want to be here, you can accept the winning culture that Shane's bringing to the table, and the potential future that this team has. You're not after the money, but if you want to go after your money, go ahead and
go
someplace
else
Yeah.
because we already know Richardson is the starter. That hasn't changed. So he would literally be coming in as QB2 after playing the majority of the season. So that's why I don't see it. I don't see him coming back unless, he truly just wants to be in that QB2 role. But I think Minshew has other plans.
I think he does too, but just to call a spade, nothing against him, but I don't think Minshew's a starter. Based off what we saw, like I said, he did what he had to do with our offense. But again, this is with the offense where he's been used to, and it still was shaky with the accuracy. It was still shaky with a lot of decisions, with happy feet, with the turnover ratios and all.
Hey, that's gonna be it for us, everyone.
No, I'm just saying that I respect what he did, but like I don't want to start the whole starter talk, not with all the quarterbacks that are out there. But yeah, that's it for me.
He started for most season.
He did. He
9-8 record.
9-8 record. With us?
Hey, yeah.
Okay. We're talking. That's including games that he came in. He didn't start, right? Yeah, that's all the games. But when he came in as a starter, he was 6-4, I think. So yeah, about the same thing. Doesn't matter. Anyway, let's get out of here, man. Let's get out of here. This is not about. We're not dogging Minshew. I'm not. Yeah.
You were though.
I just said he's not a starter. That's my opinion.
Oh, that's true.
Personal and professional.
We all have opinions. Hey, Colts Nation, let us know what you think about Gardner Minshew. We got plenty of free agents to talk about this season. Potential free agents, Colts, past Colts free agents like Gardner Minshew. There's a lot to talk about in this quiet Colts offseason for us. But let us know what you think. That's going to be it for us, everyone. Thank you for listening to the Colts Cast. Live on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or any platform you use to listen to podcasts. We'll be back next time to give you some more Indianapolis Colts content. Y'all take care.
Take it easy.